What's up, everybody? Spirit 420 here, because everything I do is so fucking 420. Like these motherfucking Elvis glasses. Check that shit out, man. That's fucking dope ass. Yeah, this is part of the Bud Tender outfit that I'm going to be premiering here very soon. Very soon. Nice to not see a motherfucking soul out there yet. Oh, cracking myself up on a shit Monday. I don't know about you folks, but there's some days, there's some Mondays, man, where you're just like, yep, and this one's gonna fucking suck. And let me be the first to say that it did. It was a suck dick Monday. Rainy, dreary, stormy day. That part actually was pretty cool. It was all the other shit that happened. But we'll get into it. Nonetheless, it doesn't bring me down. I had one notable thing that was pretty fucking cool. I feel like, anyway. Got followed by a very large, well-known follower. I'm not going to bring it up right now. I don't want to do it without, who knows? Like, he might not want me to announce to everybody that he's following me. I mean, you can find out he's one of the last, 25. But he's a really fucking cool dude. I've been following him for a while. I will say this much: he's a fighter, pretty well known in UFC circles and some other circles as well. And the coolest thing about it is this guy's one of those dudes that, every fucking tweet that he puts out, quite frankly, is a sage piece of advice. Let's just put it that way. And even when it's not necessarily like there's some, that might be the same, they always have a little twist. There's always something new, and it's always something refreshing. And quite frankly, I was honored that the guy decided to follow me and give me. I even told him, I was like, dude, thanks for even taking notice of me. So, I'll put it like this way: this guy has about well over 250,000 followers. I have well over 210,000. So, when somebody like that follows you, it just gives you a little bit of kudos that what you're doing might not be that bad. Anyway, tonight's episode, I'm going to be doing a flick dick investigation, a full investigation, if you will, of the travesty that was South Park's 25th anniversary celebration, when I expected and had such high hopes. The one thing I'll start off with is this: what makes Red Rock such an incredible place to see a venue is the intimacy of the venue, as well as being inside the tree line. So if you've ever been to Red Rock, I'm not going to sit here and do pictures, and I thought about doing all that, but essentially, you have a stage here, and then I'm probably going to hit my mic. Do it up here. Stage is down front, and then, you've got a typical, what do you call it, amphitheater set up. It's extremely, what's the word? Up and down, rigid. That's not the word I'm looking for. Steep. Okay. It's incredibly steep, but it's an intimate venue. It literally has a capacity of 9,000 people. Okay. And the way the amphitheater is set up, it's all carved into the red rocks. Everybody knows that. It's beautiful. Okay. And they've got shopping and all that shit, but that's when you're doing it for a festival. That's not for a fucking concert, right? A show that you want to see from beginning to end. Just keep that in mind. So you have the stage, and then right from the stage, just all the way around is trees up until the very top, which is lined with businesses, because they have a whole little, what do you call it, like a fucking city mall up there. It's disgusting kind of, but anyway. I say this, I don't want anybody to think that I'm a pessimistic person, because I'm really not. I went with optimism. I went believing it was going to be great. I went believing that the people putting on the show, and I'm not referring to necessarily the artists, I'm talking about the promoters, the ones with the money, right, behind it. I went believing that they cared about what experience I had and left with. Well, again, it's an intimate thing. If you're not inside that tree line, it's literally like being at a show and being outside the fence. You can't see it. You can't hear it. I mean, you can hear it, but when they're talking, right? If somebody's talking to you in between songs or giving a demonstration, like you can barely understand them because you're not there. You can't see the big screens. You can't see anything. The only thing you fucking see in this place is they put images up on the fucking Red Rocks. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's fucking cool, but I've been seeing that since Stone Mountain in Georgia back in the fucking 70s, early 80s, whenever the hell they came out with that laser show. Again, I'm not a pessimistic person. If any of you know me and know me well, you know that I'm extremely optimistic. But let's come back to the point. 9,000 capacity. If there was anything less than 27, 30,000 people there, I'd be surprised. That means that there is a bulk of people. In fact, more than half the people are not going to have a good seat and a good experience. And it was sold that way for fucking money. You added a second show. If you want the money, then just book like 4 shows, 5 shows, whatever. Make it a fucking week festival. It's South Park Celebration. It was one of the biggest deals to me. I mean, the only thing that I have out of it, quite frankly, that I think is dope at all is this fucking Colorado South Park hoodie, But also, no offense, I mean, this is just a standard hoodie. $75 for a hoodie. I know someone was like, dude, that's all concerts. No, it's not. It's not all concerts. I've been to several over the last few years, and not every, how you say it, merch. I can kind of understand South Parks, and let me say that. I try to always look at both sides. They don't do a lot of shows, right? It's not like they have concerts going on or touring every year or some shit like that. But we're also talking about a company that has already made so fucking much money on their marketing. I mean, dude, when's the last time you went out and didn't see a fucking character from South Park on some clothing sticker or something? I mean, come on. When does money stop being the priority with people who already have? To me, that is a fantastic question. I would really like to know the answer to that one. Funny enough, it looks like I'm only talking to myself tonight, so that's so cool. I get it. I didn't really announce this one, and who the fuck cares about flick dick? Not just you. So, when you rate different parts of the experience, I will say this: when I could get myself in, and I really mean that, it was just my wife and I. And to understand this, these lines with trees, you had people in every little cubby, all the way up, and every little entrance that was full. I mean, each entrance, I am not exaggerating. The way it is about every 3 rows, there's an entrance along the side of the amphitheater, right? And you have about, I'm guesstimating, about 18 of these entrances along the way, somewhere in that neighborhood. And each entrance had 50 people at it. I'm not even exaggerating. People behind, people sitting here, sitting there, standing anywhere they could. The rows on the inside were lined, and then the fucking venue has the goal to tell us to get out of the rows. It's the only place left to see the show. You literally, the only place to get out of the row at that point is to go outside, like I said, which is where I spent more than 80% of my fucking time there for a $120 ticket. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, but this it's kind of funny because the next day I came home and I was thoroughly depressed. The only thing that I think kept me from going into a straight up full on depression was I decided to watch the Woodstock '99 documentary on Netflix, and that's a flick dick investigation too. So we're gonna do these together because the documentary was fucking phenomenal. Let me just say that documentary. I easily give that a 97 out of 100 trees right out of the gate. I'll tell you that is an awesome documentary, absolutely a must watch. Gives you a real perspective on promoters and the people that are running these shows. I mean, to give you, for instance, the collective age of the folks running Woodstock '99 was probably around 25, the average age. There was a few older dudes like Michael himself from the original Woodstock in '94 as well, the same guy that started it all. But the reality is the collective age was probably around 25. I mean, they had 18, 16, 17-year-olds working. Like, it was amazing. One of the main people, one of the intricate people was like in his early 20s. And this is, you're talking about a 3-day festival. Wow. What saved it for me by watching that, again, it kept me from the depression fully kicking in. But the thing that saved me was watching that and knowing that those people actually went through a worse situation than I did. You know, that was a venue where they were expecting 250,000 people, but 25-year-olds as a collective age do not know how to prepare for 250,000 people having to shit and piss for 3 days, much less eat, drink, and sleep. Right. And when I say that, I remember I was, what was it, 27, somewhere in there, in 99, right around 27, I think, when it went on. I was getting ready to, I think I just turned 27, a fresh 27 when Woodstock was going on. And I remember when some of my friends got home from it that went, and I was a little jealous because I didn't go to 94 and I didn't go to 99. And I'd always said that, had I been born in 1950, I would have been 19 years old at Woodstock. But the Woodstocks that were done in 90s were not, they did not even resemble. And here's why. Let me just give you a couple of key points. Woodstock 69 expected about 50,000 people and got more than 250,000, right? It was also during a time of peace, love, and harmony amongst the people that went to the show, because it was not full of frat boys and full of other youngsters that were there for completely different reasons. And what I mean by that, free love is not show me your tits. There's a fucking difference between it, right? 69 was free love. 99 was show me your tits. Because by 99, you had girls, wet porn, or whatever. Remember Girls Hot? What is that? What was that stupid thing that dude went around and you had the girls flashing their tits? Girls Go Crazy or something like that. Anyway, again, by 99, you had a completely different mentality. The shows that were booked for 99 were a bunch of Rage Against the Machine, not just that one band, but bands that literally were all raging against the machine, right? Limp Bizkit, Korn, God, who am I leaving out? Red Hot Chili Peppers has never been anything to perform, and all of these bands, I will say this, while they were there doing what they believed to be probably the right thing at the time, just kept igniting what was going on there, right? But again, I digress, coming back full circle. Back in 99, I remember when folks got back, the number one consensus, and I've talked to probably like 20 people who went, the number one consensus amongst these folks, amongst all of them, was that it was the stinkiest thing they'd ever gone through, because literally after the first day, which is exactly what the documentary states, after the first day, the fucking smell was horrendous because they didn't have enough porta potties and, shit disposal units to suffice probably 100,000 people, much less what ended up being 300,000 people. And they really had very little control. And I won't go all the way into it. Watch the documentary. What I will say is you'll come to the same conclusion that what I went through at South Park is the same thing those folks went through in 99. And it's why they got angry. It's why they were so pissed, because their money was taken from them without a care in the world of providing a good experience for your time there that you have paid your hard-earned money, right? Girls Gone Wild. Thank you, Princess. So back to the point, both of these experiences, and again, watching it helped me because it's been going on for a while. It's not like, and I knew that, but it's not every show. And you would like to think that some organizations or whatever would, how do you say, work hard at making sure that this doesn't continue to happen, because people are going to eventually stop going to shows if they don't feel like they're going to get a good experience for their money, right? I paid for a ticket for a seat for general admission. I was there a half hour early and I could not get a seat. That should not happen. It's called a capacity for a reason. If you have a 9,000 seat capacity, then you sell 9,000 seats. I could see maybe doing another 1,000 over because people could line and still get a good. But here's the thing: there was so many people lining the side. Like I'm saying, even if you were one of those people, you couldn't see past the the 4 rows of people before you even get to the fucking seats. I mean, it was so fucking packed, so packed. Ugh. So South Park 25th anniversary. I'm really giving. I think I'm being nice here because I haven't watched the show. The show's now out live on Paramount Plus as well as I think it premiered on Comedy Central, of course, and you can watch it on Paramount Plus. It's available. I am being generous when I say this. I'm going to give it a 43. 43 trees out of 100. And the only reason it got a 43 is because Geddy Lee with Rush and the other member, I can't think of his name. I know Neil Peart and Geddy Lee like back of my hand, but they showed up and the songs were good. Matt and Trey performed well. What I did get to see as far as the show was put together really well, and that's the real sad part is I really would have enjoyed this. This was when you talk about a show, what they put together, the songs, the set list, the entertainment, the lasers, all of it being together and the way that it was done was incredible if you were allowed to see it. That's my only, I know I'm saying it again, but I mean, that is really what that is way off. It's a few seconds slow, and if I don't stay on top of it, then that's what he said. It's a few seconds slow, and if I don't stay on top of it, you go in there with me. You got it? You get it? All right. Keep moving. So, next on the list, 25th anniversary, right? And Woodstock 99, I kind of took care of those. But again, Woodstock 99, I'm telling you right now, that is a must see. Just writing my scores down so I can put them in the description later. It's enlightening. And as far as the documentary goes, it really gives you an idea of not only the mentality of some of these stars, some of these acts that went on, but really gives you the mentality of the promoters who put on the show. And what's funny is you had two major guys, Michael and one other guy. It's like two different guys. One is all about money. One is all about peace and love. These two should have never been put together for this thing. That's fucking part of the problem right there. You know, one of the guys said it best that once the promoters made all the cutbacks, all of the planning of making a great experience was out the door, and all of the planning on how to make as much money was what was now in light. And he even said it. The one thing, greed, and that's exactly what killed South Park's show. It was greed, and it's sad because they did a couple of cool things. Like check this out. I'll share these with you. I have the digital, so I'll end up putting them up on my Twitter here soon. But they gave us. They had all these. What do you call it? Like stand-in, posters, if you will. What are they called? Well, you'll see, right? So they had all these posters. And I'll just kind of keep my wife's face out of there real quick. See? But that was with Kenny, and then with all five of them, or all four of them, because it's all five of us. And then what was really cool is they even had the, I love it, they even had the, the, what do you call them? Their anime characters. So, and they didn't charge you for these pictures. This was like the fucking only thing that was cool. Like all you had to do was go up and say, yeah, you want one. And they gave you, if it was two of you, they didn't give you two copies, right? You could even go back and take another one if you want to. It wasn't like unlimited. If nobody was standing there, they'll take another one. And they send you a digital copy. So, I mean, again, that was one of the savings grace. But, aside from that, great. I got to take pictures with fucking cutouts. I really wanted to see them on stage. And the stage was elaborate. Oh man, it was totally set up like the show. It was really. I'll end up posting some video. Like I said, the planning and the choreography of the show, incredible. The execution of the venue and the way that they did it, horrendous. So horrendous that it took away from it even being a positive experience. It honestly was a negative experience. I think I should have done what I said halfway through, and because I knew where I knew how to get around the drone thing, and I should have just flown my drone in there and fucking filmed it. But like, fuck it, because I would have been back in the car before they ever got to. especially in that area. If you know it, it's pretty interesting. So let's move on to the next one. What did I see next? Oh, so right afterwards, we did have savings grace. So my wife and I went to go see Bullet. Now, before I went to go see the movie, I looked at the wife and I was like, I have zero expectations. In fact, if anything, I'm expecting this to be such a cheese-filled fest that I'm going to feel like a nacho when I leave. Right? Well, there was some cheese. I mean, it's called Bullet Train and it has Brad Pitt. Right? That was a good movie. Um, there was a couple of things that surprised me. Most of it was pretty standard, but it was a good story in a standard way. I'll put it like that. I think people are ranking a little bit higher than I'll give it 74 out of 100. But it's definitely a must see. I would recommend. We saw it on the big IMAX, so I would definitely recommend seeing it on that size. The effect of the rumbling of the chairs and all that definitely made that action flick a little bit more enjoyable to see. And I will add this note on there: the direction was good. The directing was good. The acting was good. The writing was on par and had a few plus moments, so better than average. Um, the who was it? There was a few people that really shined. I'll say that when you watch the actors, there was a couple of the performances that definitely shined out. I don't want to give it away. I will say this: the younger girl, I thought that she really shined in her, innocent killer. Which, if you've seen the trailer, it's not something new that I'm telling you. No spoilers there. I mean, they show her as being a killer from the moment that they show her. So again, it's not a spoiler. Uh, what was I going to say? Oh, there was something I was going to say about it. Some of the fight scenes had a couple of good things that I hadn't seen, although most of it I feel like I had because we've done just about everything that you can do with a magical, choreography fight scene. But one cool little thing is they had one, two, three really cute, cool cameos. Three really cool cameos. So after you see it, if you know who they are, hit me up and we'll see if you caught them. I mean, they're pretty obvious to me. One of them was absolutely hysterical. The other one was typical, but it was perfect for it. And then the other one was like, of course, that's him. Who is this guy? But I mean, I don't want to take anything away. I don't want to spoil it. Definitely a must see. All right, next on the list, Day Shift. Day Shift is the new Jamie Foxx movie. Young kid in it, I'm almost positive. Yeah, his daughter. She's cute. It's a vampire movie. It has Snoop Dogg in it as well, and there was somebody else too. Franco, the younger brother Franco. I'll say that one was pretty good. Had a lot of. It was not quite as good as Bullet Train. It's a Netflix movie, so like most Netflix productions. We're gonna have another one here. I'm gonna talk about in a second. Most Netflix productions, they kind of just feel the same. I don't know what it is, but it was like I was watching almost the same world that Jamie Foxx just did that last movie, Power, whatever, where they took the pill, and then that movie also felt like the same universe the Will Smith movie with the where the forks are part of life. Like, I mean, someone was writing about it today, and I was like, yeah, that really is true. With their shows and their movies, it's like you're in a Netflix universe when they make things. Their production feels so similar from one to another. It is a little bothersome at times, and hopefully they'll start to hear this feedback from not just me but other critics and be like, hey, maybe we can change it up a bit. Who knows? It can't hurt to make it a little bit, right? At least that's mine. So Day Shift had a good story. It wasn't as cheesy as I kind of anticipated it to be after watching the trailer. It had its moments, I will say that, but overall, it was actually really cool. I'll tell you what it kind of reminded me of. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but it was reminiscent in many ways because he's a vampire hunter. That is the premise. I'm not spoiling it again. That's you find that out within seconds of watching the film or the trailer. But it was very reminiscent to me of John Carpenter's Vampires because that was about a group of hunters. Who James Woods was in that. Now, that one's cheesy, but you also know it's John. I mean, John Carpenter is cheese. So, but it was reminiscent of that. I think whoever made this, wrote it, directed it, maybe one the same, or maybe both of them had a love for that old vampire movie. I say old because I think it was made 2000. Old time. So Day Shift, what are we going to give that? It is a thumbs up. It is definitely worth seeing, especially since it's Netflix. You get it for free with your subscription. So it's not like you're paying for this movie. Sit down and watch it. It's not even 2 hours long. And in fact, on that note, I'll give it a solid 69. It's one you can turn around and do the other way too. I did enjoy it. It was eye cheese, eye candy, whatever you want to call it. It was eye candy as well as eye cheese. It was eye chocolate and cheese. Give a shout out to Wayne. Love those guys. All right, next on the list, Prey. So this is the newest installment in the Predator films, and it was actually produced by Hulu and released by them. It just came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. I watched it last night. Been waiting on it. I will tell you this. That was probably now my well. Yeah, I actually like the Predator movies overall, almost all of them. Truly, even trying to think of the worst. The worst one would definitely be AVP Requiem, and then probably AVP. Those are the worst two. When you take, those are also the worst two Alien movies too. But I still fucking love those. I own every single Predator film, every single Alien film, and obviously both AVPs. And I'm looking forward to a new Chiefs Fest at some point in the future with an AVP 3. I can't imagine. It's probably already being planned as I'm sitting here chatting about it and thinking about it. But I come from that generation when we made that happen. We wanted to see those two characters so bad. First, they did a comic book, then they did a video game, then they made the movie. It wasn't really hard to do. You have one that's the ultimate killer and the other one that is the ultimate being. Don't you want to see that the ultimate hunter go up against the ultimate survivor? It was a fucking no-brainer for all of us. Right? And last but not least, this is a partial investigation here from the Flick Dick. Because I'm in the middle of watching it. I've watched now 3 episodes, but I've watched them pretty quick. If a show's good, I'll binge watch it, with maybe very little stuff in between. And I started this one, I think, like maybe 3 days ago, and I've already watched 3 episodes, which, if you know me in the way that I watch shows, it's pretty quick. So, just to get right into it, it's another Netflix production. It's called The Sandman, right? I'm sure everybody's been seeing about this one. If you don't know this voice here, this is kind of reminiscent of the Rhoda. Or no, not the Rhoda. What's it? Rosanna Dana. So Sandman, pretty good. I did not read the books. I will be straight up on that. I actually, now that I heard about it, I never heard of it. When I did hear about it, I was like, okay. And I didn't read the books, but I read a few excerpts, and I understand one of the reasons that they took so long to bring this one to film was because of its special effects needs, and its imagination was written greatly. Let's just put it that way. So it wasn't until now that the Netflix universe could bring it to life. And just like anything else, I will say this: like when it comes to the shows, there's Netflix. There seems to be a movie universe where they film movies, and then a show universe where they film shows. And what I mean by that is there's this other one, Bone and Penis. No, that's not it, but it's came out last year, and I watched it with my wife, and I can't. It was something Bone and something. There's another one too that I can't remember right off hand, and then now this one, and they all feel like they're the same fucking place. Like I'm guessing that maybe one of the things Netflix does, and it's just easy, is save money, and they use the same locations to film everything. And they're like, look, you can use the same tree. We read the script. It looks just sounds just like what it looks here. the other show that I was thinking of, Umbrella Academy. So Umbrella Academy, little, trying to remember the name of that bone and something. Bone and something. Anyway, to me again, and what's really funny is some of these take place in like different eras of time, eras of time, and you're like, how does it still look like the same fucking universe? You know, Sandman though takes place in the present, and so does Umbrella Company, and it literally looks like I feel like at some point the Sandman's going to run into the Umbrella Academy, right? They're going to run into each other and be like, come on, man, you want to like? They should just fight. They should have that Sandman versus Umbrella Academy because they're right down the hall from one another. That's what it feels like. Oh, you know what I meant to do? Yeah, pack this bowl up here. Got this little captain of happiness. Pack her up and take a crown choke. I've gone to an extremely filtered smoking experience to try to start to save my lungs. And what I mean by that is got the mouthpiece. I don't know if y'all are familiar. I'm sure most people are familiar with this by now. But you got a filter in there, right? Mouthpiece also makes a really badass joint filter system, right? And then this just filter just pops out, pop it in. It's silicone, so once you get it in, pops right in, stays nice and sealed. You actually get a really what's the word I'm looking for? A really good hit because the suction is so well that it pulls and draws very smoothly and very evenly, so you don't get. I seem to. It seems like so far we just got these. I think it was Saturday, and no kidding, man. Like every joint through them has burned almost flawlessly with very little run or anything like that. And I think it's because you get such an even draw on it because you're using a filter to filter fish to fill my fish. So let's do this bong rip. Talk about a couple more things. Get the fuck out of here. I got fucking work. Oh, yeah, thank you. That's why I was getting it wrong. It's Shadow and Bone. Thank you, Princess, to the rescue again. Yes, it is. It was pretty cool, but again, still feels like all these things are made in the Netflix universe for shows and Netflix universe for movies, depending on which one you're seeing. So feel free to watch them all. I will say this, Netflix is like Stranger Things again. There's another one, that's like it literally, and that takes place in the '80s, but it feels like the same just overall universe, just a little bit younger when you're watching Stranger Things because it is. Maybe what they're actually doing is doing it really well. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, and some of the other critics are getting it wrong, and they're just capturing our real world so well on Netflix film that it all looks like what we're used to, and you call that Netflix. Maybe that's it. Who the hell knows? Oh, who the hell knows? Yeah, I could play. I got this lighter. There we go. Double toe. Getting high as a fly on the wall. Just don't squish me, y'all. So I think that was all the. Let me give these ratings though. I didn't finish. Pardon you. So Prey. Uh, I think I'm going to give Prey. I never really talked about that one. I kind of just skipped over and talked about the whole system. Let me come back to that, really, because that one was fucking good. First of all, it takes place. It's the one that goes the furthest back. So everything in the Predator universe has either been present day or set into the future when it came out, like Predator 2, right? This one goes back to when it was still predominantly Native Americans that were roaming the Great Plains with a few foreigners that had started coming out. In this particular case, in this film, it was Frenchmen. because they were some of the first ones to get out that far and hunt buffalo. So that's the time frame that this is going on, and that's when this Predator, and it's just like every Predator movie that's any good, there's a few differences to this Predator versus the others. But the chick in it was fucking badass. In fact, I really was impressed with all the acting, including the Predator himself. Like, some Predators are better than other ones, better than others, and this one was like just spot on. Thought the story was spot on. Thought the special effects looked pretty fucking real for the most part. Um, it's still hard to not see CGI sometimes when you work so much in the industry and with graphics and that kind of stuff. So don't get me wrong, I just see beyond it. But it was as good as anything this day and age. I'll put it like that. And I was thoroughly impressed with a few key factors. One of the ones that my wife brought up is that something that seems to be done in almost every Predator movie was not done in this. It was still done, but it was done in a different way. And you'll get what I mean. I don't want to spoil anything for you. But that said, I will give Predator a solid 80. It was definitely a B. Not quite an A, but it was a B. And it was good. It was enjoyable, and I'm probably going to watch it again soon. What's funny is I enjoyed it so much. Right away, we watched Predators, the one with Adrian Brody, which I also like that one too because it was directed by. Come on, y'all know who it was. Robert Rodriguez. Go. Now, I will save my overall rating on the Sandwich Man. How about this? What I will say is, so far, every episode has been somewhere between 75 to an 83. Let's just say that. So right now, that's where my somewhere in that range is where I would put it. I don't want to give it an overall investigation score until, quite frankly, uh, the end of the series. Like, if I did Game of Thrones based on per episode, they get like a bunch of hundreds. But if I do it based on a series, because of a horrible ending to that incredible feat up until the last two seasons, fucking thing nearly fails. It's like literally it gets a 70 fucking 70. And I want to give it a 69 because I was so pissed at that. But hey, you know what? It's okay. Got to have the first 6 seasons, some of the best television ever fucking made. They broke barriers. They broke rules, which I love. I'm a rule breaker. And on that note, most people don't realize just how normal Strange is. I have something that I was going to share tonight because I try to remember to share something strange about myself to prove to y'all that I am strange, but just like you. So I figured tonight, let's discuss urination. All right? Urination that, no, urination. I have what's known as stage fright. And it's really fucking strange. I have no problems with my penis. I'm a polypansexual, for God's sakes. So I actually like the idea of somebody staring at my penis and being like, hey, nice, nice tool you got there, buddy. But for some reason, I cannot. It just won't. Like, he will not cooperate. He will not cooperate, and I will stand there. So that's even worse to me is to be the guy that stands there, and I've only done it a couple times, and they're like, I'm just not fucking doing that. I'll wait for a fucking stall. And when I say stage fright, even once I go in the stall, it sometimes takes another 2-3 minutes of standing there, having to negotiate with my penis for him to cooperate. And then it's a trickle. You're like, dude, just let the fucking magic flow, and it's not till halfway through. And I almost every time now lately, I have been having a reoccurring Tom Hanks League of Their Own moment. I mean, the other day I pissed so long that two people, the stall next to me, two people came in, pissed, zipped, cleaned, and I was still fucking pissing. I was like, I honestly used to watch that scene as a kid because I was pretty young when Tom did that. And I was like, this is unrealistic. Nobody pisses like that. Yes, yes, they do. Now his was full flow. I'll say that. Except for the trickling at the end. And it's not. Put this. I'm not at full flow, but once I get started, I am at least about 50%. And I mean, to be able to sit there and listen to an entire song, almost, you're like, okay, this is a hell of a fucking piece. So obviously, I don't want to do that in front of other people because I'm sure I'll get jazzed. I've even jazzed on myself while I'm in there when other people. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm having a Tom Hanks moment because again, I'm not shy. I am not shy. He personally, he that little head down there is shy. Not me. Him. Don't know why he's shy, but he is. Right. So I have to fucking take him to a stall. I always have to wait in line, and it always sucks now. Like I really want to make sure when I go to films or something of that nature, I really make sure to piss beforehand. Really, just because, like, dude, if I go piss, I'm gonna miss like a fucking major plot point. It's not bullshit. I'm gonna miss something. I can't go and piss like I used to be able to during the lovemaking scene and know that all I might have missed were some tits and A for a second, right? But damn, dude. So yeah, major stage spot. The one last thing too that I'll add is I've never liked being a shaker because it gets everywhere. So I've always called myself a paster, right? Because I do that pants like toothpaste. Just squeeze it all out of there like a fucking tube just until there's no more drip. Because when you do all this, and that's why guys get pee on themselves. I'm like, did you ever think to yourself that there was a more? So I'm curious. Just hands in the air. I see all of the hands in the air. How many of you are pasters, right? Squeeze it out, right? I'm a paster. Are you a paster too? I'll be interested to see if anybody has the cojones to admit that they're a paster and not a shaker. I mean, the fact is too, pasters, it just feels better. Okay, I mean that feels better than flipping on. It's always funny because I say to shake it more than once. You're playing with it. I've never jacked off by shaking my fucking cock around like an empty hose. I don't remember doing that. You remember doing that? I don't remember doing that. I have jacked it off by doing this kind of the pasty one, but do the pasty. Look this up. Kind of sick. I feel like I'm in full form tonight for an audience that just isn't there, but that's typical. It's Monday. I'll have to go back and promote this one and be like, hey, if you really want to catch some smart ass comments, go check out last year's show. Because I won't do it until next year. I'll forget. Who knows? Just another shout out. Had a lot of fun with the host the other night. We had some technical difficulties, but it is the world of technology. So I think the next time, just because I want to give you guys a better experience to let you get to know me a little better, because it really is cool, dude. But I know that some of what he was saying was getting chomped up. I went back and listened to it. I listened to the broadcast. But next time I have him, I think what I'll probably do is do a pre-record. That way, when it is choppy or something's getting missed, we can take it out. Plus, uh, there's advantages to doing it. How do you say off air than live? Live brings more complications if things don't work. Right. It also brings more spontaneity and what I feel like is more authenticity. But there is something to be said for a polished piece of work versus a raw piece of work. I could go on real. That was so raw piece of work. There we go. So I love all you folks. I hope that everybody's having a good week. I myself will be back here Wednesday, and we'll be back on Friday, of course. I'm trying to line up some new guests here. I've kind of collabed out the last few weeks, so I've been really busy, and I've got to get a few things done. I got to get. I want to show her in case she's listening, but I will have Willow on soon. And Willow, I have your whole kit right here: your mic, USB mic, earbud, and extension. It's all right here. I'm getting ready to Put it in a box. I was supposed to do it yesterday and just forgot to get the box from downstairs. But I'm going to pack that out and get that out to you here real soon. So we will be having Willow on, who is also known as Americana Blunt on Twitter. She's closing in on about 20,000 followers, and what I only mention her followership because it's really all about learning and positivity. She is a wealth of knowledge. Dank.tube even has a strain named after her, which is Willow Tree of Knowledge. And eventually, I'm going to be helping her. Some of what I'm going to be doing soon is personally helping her get that set up and getting on there. And we've got some things to do, and I'm going to take a moment here and talk about Dank.tube in just a second. But nonetheless, she will be on the show soon. And obviously looking for more. And so if anybody wants to, by the way, if there's somebody that wants to reach out, or if you have an idea for somebody that I should reach out to, feel free to, shoot me a message. I'm not opposed to any kind of DMs, comments, whatever you want to do. It's all cool in the gang to me. So, Dank.tube. It's not that I'm lazy. I have just had a lot going on. And everybody's been paying attention. There's 3 weed men. All of us have had so much work. I haven't even put out an announcement. I know that probably more than half of the fixes that I requested have been done, but I don't know that all of them have been done. I really got to get time with him. So I've got a ton of footage. Part of what's going on too, I showed you the glasses. I had to go back to the drawing board, which presented problems, and getting all the gear and all the things to create Bud Tender has been, let's just say, it's a challenge in itself. But, with every challenge comes something great. I think you guys are really going to like this character that I've manifested. The only thing left, the original Bud Tender voice was going to be this guy here, kind of a mix of Beetlejuice and Stoner, if you will. But I have decided that I'm going to look. I've got like 5 or 6 different voices that I'm looking at, and based on once I get all the makeup on, look and compare whatever voice feels natural. You can imagine that's the one I go with. So that's actually fun and really interesting. And not only that, but anything great you have to work hard on. Dank.tube has not busted out as some immediate success, and I didn't necessarily even anticipate that whatsoever. I did think it would probably do a little bit better than it is right now, and I'm fine with that because I haven't promoted it, a fifth, or I promoted it to about as much as 20% is what I've done with Spirit 420. So a lot of new changes are coming up. I'm finally getting some new solid schedules. And what I mean by that is getting used to it, trying to make things as simple as possible. But I've also got a lot of catch up, not mustard or mayonnaise, but catch up. What I mean by that is probably here soon. I may even take Friday off. I'll let y'all know Wednesday. So let's leave, or just sitting here thinking about it. Maybe I'll take Wednesday off and come back Friday. Because there's a lot of stuff I need to catch up on. I need to get the same episodes uploaded and done onto the podcast format. And I really need to buckle down and make a few videos for Dank.tube because we've got some really cool footage. I haven't had the chance to upload. So it's not going away. We're getting ready to do a new email announcement, a new Dank-ass announcement, or what is it? Dank fucking announcement, a DFA. I think that's what I call it. Either way, it will continue, and even if it never becomes a huge success, it doesn't cost me that much right now. So if it ever costs me more than it is now, that means it's successful, and I'll most likely have ads running on it. So there you go. I can't think of anything else right now, so just keep this in mind. I really do love all of you. I think you're all incredible people. I would love to hear people's story. By the way, when I say I want to guest, I'm cool with anybody. I'm not. You don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to be famous. You don't even have to have a fucking job. If you want to come on the show and have a discussion with me, just let me know because that's really what I'm more about. I'm really try to be more like a regular guy. Someone said the other day, and they said they meant it as a compliment, and I really do appreciate it. I'm nothing incredibly special. You know, I've got fucking smoke-stained teeth. I'm 50 years old. I've been doing some crazy shit. I do a lot of crazy shit. I say a lot of crazy shit. That my family, after 50 years, still looks at me like, "Did you just say that?" Yes, I did, because I just don't give a fuck. I'm here to have fun, and at this point in life, I'm here to also spread positivity and give back. So everything I'm doing is to, try to give a little bit of happiness and joy back to all of you. So again, I love you. Remember that everybody has opinions, just like assholes, and everybody thinks that everybody else's asshole stinks, just like their opinion. Mine stink like coffee that I'm out of again. I got 3 drops of a badass brew there. And dank ass commercial grade Natty Jane from me. Yes, I'm a corner. See, there's still green on that thing. Let everybody get a good hit. Thank you, Strange Bird. Oh, goodness. So, until the next episode, which I'll make a quick decision right now so that I leave y'all with the honesty. Wednesday is up in the air. I'll make a decision on it tomorrow, and we'll have it. I'll announce it sometime Wednesday. I'll either be live or I won't. Friday, I think it's probably best to bank on that one because most likely I'm leaning towards taking Wednesday off, just one day this week, and being on Friday. And what I'll probably do is maybe go Friday and Saturday back-to-back days to make up for Wednesday so that I'm still live 3 days this week. Right? Anybody got an opinion on it, you can send it over to me. Let me know. Like to hear it? Here go. Thank you. And thank you. Everybody here, have a wonderful evening. If you're watching it later, have a wonderful evening after that. I don't care either way. You're beautiful. You're awesome. Peace.